Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode on Laid Back the Ezike podcast. Our topic for this week is social media versus real life. Our guest for this week is a lawyer who is licensed to practice both in Nigeria and is about to be licensed to practice in Canada as well. Hello, Onyinye. Welcome to the show.
Hi, it's a long time. Thanks for having me.
I did tell you don't tell Abby.
It's been so long.
First of all, I want to say thank you for honoring the invitation to be here. So, is this your first podcast?
Yeah, to be honest, I listen to a lot, but this is my first time actually speaking on one. So exciting.
Oh, okay. At least let this be your first podcast. Let our own podcast be your first.
It's the first now. That's good.
Yeah. So, but before we begin, let me mention that Onyinye is an avid football fan. Barcelona, to be precise. I get them wrong.
And Man City. So I have to follow my Oga.
So who is your guy in this case?
Pep now. Wait.
Okay. So anywhere Pep goes, you go.
Not as if anywhere, but it's fair. Like if you notice, some people, just like how a lot of Madrid fans or let's say United fans were supporting Madrid because Ronaldo went there. It's normal that maybe you might feel some kind of allegiance, if you will, to if you're a favorite footballer or manager of yours moves to another team, especially a team that you guys have a lot in common. So that's the reason only. It's not like I watch Man City, to be fair, and it doesn't help that Barcelona has just been really bad this recent couple of years. But yeah, I do support both of them. So that's why I said please add Man City. Thanks.
Yeah, but I know you recently mentioned a term to me, football tribalism. What? Yeah. Isn't that what you're doing right now? And what do you even mean by
that? Yeah, I was going to say that I was going to admit my guilt to it. First of all, I wasn't going to deny saying that, oh no, I'm above all that. No, it's not true. But I was even going to say, like, let's say they act. Let's say, for instance, Mourinho coached Madrid, United, and then maybe Ronaldo fan, and people look at him as kind of the antithesis to like Pep, Barcelona, what's his name, Messi, kind of stuff. So no matter what the argument is, no matter what the discussion is, no matter even if it's just a neutral perspective, as long as let's assume that Pep is on this side of the argument, people that are kind of on the other spectrum naturally just move to that side, even if it reasonably doesn't make any sense at all. They just naturally just take that thing, like that first position, even if it's what they call it, it contradicts their general point of view of maybe how things should happen or not. So I was going to look at it. Is it reasonable, or should there be a line, or should it just be blind followership as to once this person is there, you must follow them automatically? No. So for me, what I was going to come, I know I like I said, I was going to say I was part of the guilt. Messi, I supported Messi all through, but in that his PSG team, I was just never able to accept the team. One, because of the hostility that was shown by the general fans of the club and everything. Do you understand? So I was saying at least I was able to admit how badly they played. Even he himself, when he was there, how bad he was playing. I wasn't blinded by, I like Messi so much. So everything that PSG does is amazing or not. So that's why I was just trying to. I wanted to look at it in depth. Like, okay, so are we duty bound to support every single part of anybody that you like, or anywhere they go, you must support them automatically? So that's just it.
Oh, okay. But you sound so passionate about this football. How did you even?
It's surprising. It's really surprising.
Exactly, but the thing that shocked me. So, how did you get into football, and how did you even start following Barcelona to start it before you went to Man City?
I think that from the start, I had a friend that was maybe early 2008, 2009. I kind of liked Messi for whatever reason, right? Then I now had a friend when I was living in Abuja after when I was in law school that really liked what they call it, Madrid. So it's surprising for me that instead of maybe supporting the team that my friend liked, that I would have maybe just gone ahead with it. But for whatever reason, I was drawn to the whole Messi, what they call it, his whole personality, his football, the way they play football. So from then I started supporting Barcelona fully, and I even when you are watching their teams and doing everything, and maybe they do get knocked out, you are feeling really bad. So, and Pep and all, like when Pep left Barcelona, went to Madrid, and then the kind of standards, if you ask me, when people expect too much from somebody, when they don't have the same expectations from another person or another team, it means that person they are giving all those expectations is clearly the best. That's why Pep's time in what they call the Bayern is judged as failure, because he apparently didn't win Champions League, even though there are many other coaches that went there and didn't win Champions League. But his own is termed failure because it's only him that is expected to win it all the time. Or the people that will cook up what they call it, they'll make a what they call it, they'll put pictures of the last time Messi was knocked out. Like, is Messi expected to win Champions League every year when there are like 32 teams? How many teams are competing every year? So if it's only him that is expected, it means there's a reason. So for me, I don't know. I probably don't engage in it online as much as I actually even do in real life. Do you understand? So I enjoy it, and then their personality off the pitch as well is what seals it for me. Because for me, what you do on the pitch should be enough. I don't have to be seeing drama. I'm not taking gigs at anyone, but you understand what I mean. Yeah. I don't have to be expecting drama off the pitch. Oh, this person said this. So these things that don't have nothing to do with football. And then these are the reasons you say, oh, this person is a player. No, we are watching the match. What they do on the pitch is what is expected. That is what you should judge their career with, not what they say or do off the pitch. Yeah. So I don't know how I became very passionate, but for whatever reason, even I don't even need to have people to engage in as in discussion or debate. I watch it alone and I enjoy it. So
I can tell. But to be fair, we've deviated a bit from
the
topic. So let's get right back to the topic of the day. What impact do you really think technology has made in our lives? It could be positive, it could be negative, in terms of finance, travel, life in general.
I think for me, the biggest impact, technology in general, not even, are we speaking technology generally or social media now?
No.
Because they are kind of two different things.
Let's start with technology. In terms of finance, travel, everything.
Okay, so if it's technology, like, obviously technology has simplified our life. It has made life much, much more easier. And I can speak from the perspective of someone that wasn't there or that was there in both eras. That is the era pre-technology. And from technology, I'm speaking of maybe internet now. I'm going to focus on the internet because internet, I can tell the impact before and after the internet. Back then, when we were in secondary school, like university, like early university to be fair, on ending secondary school, before internet, all the what they call it, all those, as in all the information that are like basically at our fingertips now, and the access that we have granted, we did not have all of that. Everything like was so analog. Like if you need to make a call, or how you need to go to where someone who has a phone, and all the like maybe Serere involved in maybe getting access to be able to make a call, as opposed to right now where even people like you can contact someone just like how we are communicating now. We are in the UK and I'm in Canada, and we are speaking as if we are like in the same room and all that. So it has really made life not only easier, it has made it simpler, it has granted us much more access and reduced the time I spent in carrying out basic tasks or getting like information that you will probably spend more money and all on acquiring. You can get it much more easier. So for me, I think that technology has, even if you are arguing that maybe there might be some dangers in that information that shouldn't get into some hands, fall into their hands easily. That's why I guess there is continuous improvement to make it like maybe safer for not only minors, like preventing minors from getting access and falling into the hands of, I guess, creeps or something on the internet. But in general, I feel like the pros far outweigh the cons in terms of the benefit to the society in general. And for my own self, personally, I can speak from that angle. So yeah.
Fair, but now, let's break it down now to social media. I think we've become so dependent on the social media and technology in general. So is there anything we can do to salvage this and stop the addiction to social media apps and technology in general?
For adults, right? First of all, I think that I'm not sure how much we can, like, I guess, caution adults or discourage them from, like, depending or spending and getting so addicted on social media. But I think that the generation we can and focus on is the children that are growing, right? I'm not a parent yet, but when I become a parent, I expect to at least limit the amount of access my kids have to not only social media but even the internet in general. They will have access because there's nothing, almost everything now is online. Like almost even watching local TV, you probably are not able to even connect without the internet. So definitely you are going to be on the internet. But all you have to do is like, okay, because you are living with the kids, you are the ones that is going to be in their life. It's the most permanent part of their life. The internet is the internet. If you as a parent ensure that okay, your children know that whatever it is that is happening on this phone, on this tab or this computer, this is leave it on the computer. Once you close the computer, once you put off the phone, that's the end. Leave it outside there, right? I know that in this day and age, sometimes some from internet or social media stuff flow down to real life, but at the same time, make your children understand that there are two different parts of life. Yes, there is a lot of gain, there's a lot of access, there's a lot of opportunities that are on the internet, but then there's also a lot of danger. So I feel like it is our role as maybe adults, like parents in the children's life, to differentiate and to make sure that they can tell, like they are able to understand that okay, there's a limitation to what you should do. There's a limitation to how much of yourself you should even share on that social media. I don't know how to speak on adults because I mean adults, even though yes, people still change, but you are really responsible for your own self, because if you are going to be addicted to social media and let it get in the way of your work, unless you are maybe making money from the social media, like maybe some of the people that work online or have like social media accounts and influencer accounts or whatever, then that's different. But at the same time, regular adults who have a day job and live a daily life and decide that everything about your life is going to depend or is going to live on social media while neglecting that aspect of your life, obviously it's going to suffer. So maybe you have to learn hard lessons. Maybe when you get fired because you are spending all your time on Twitter talking trash and getting your office embarrassed, and then people find out your job and start emailing your managers or your bosses and all. Do you understand? So I don't know how to speak on adults. I feel like if you are an adult and you are not able to determine the difference between social media and real life, maybe a hard lesson is what you probably need to learn. But for children, I think that it's important to start from the beginning and start ensuring that before they even get social media accounts, so that by the time they are ready to get social media accounts, they understand that this is just it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with your online and your daily life, and it doesn't mean that you go and create an alternate personality and go and do whatever you want to do. At the same time, know that if internet is the access people have, somebody can find out your personal details just from a lot of the information you even put there. Sometimes they are monitoring everything you say and collecting the information together, and before you know it, they've thrown it out there. So it's, I don't know, there's a lot of danger, and as parents, I think that is where most people's roles should start. For adults, well, if you can't tell, like I said, maybe a hard lesson is what you need to learn.
Yeah, so you mentioned how an adult needs to learn a hard lesson. Maybe they think social media is getting in the way of his work, getting work done, productivity, and the rest of it. Then talked about children. So in general, what do you think is the influence of social media on real life?
I think that, right, there are so many thought leaders. There's like social media is just a boiling pot of different opinions, different like attitudes, different activities, different interests, right? So the way I think that social media influences, like for instance, let's say now, let me give an example. Both of us are on Nigerian Twitter space, where there are so many people in quotes who are influencers. Let's say influencers in that maybe they are political influencers, or they are maybe sports influencers, or maybe even lifestyle influencers, or maybe all the personality cults, or the what they call this thing now. If it's not feminist influencer or feminist maybe Twitter thought leaders, then it might be the one of, what's the other guy's name? The one that speaks about how to be a man, or it's not macho man. What's that thing that they used to say? You know what I'm talking about? Alpha male, alpha male people. So sometimes when you see, there are some people, if whether you like it or not, there are some people that are maybe lost in their daily life. They don't really know what to think about stuff. Sometimes even we see it happen on social media. Like some people, when a topic or when something happens, they don't know exactly how they feel. They wait for those their thought leaders to give their opinion on that, and then they carry that as, oh, this is what the right thing to do. Whereas social media should be people giving of at least understanding what it is, like what life should be or what everybody should be like. Then you will see people giving thoughts on marriage. Oh, this is what a alpha male, you have to establish it, or feminist. Meanwhile, you might look and see that these people are taking their thoughts as maybe law and applying it to their daily life. And then maybe when you investigate, you see that the person that is giving these thoughts and giving these laws is not even a married person.
No, the person has not even experienced anything.
Exactly. Has not even experienced anything, but because they happen to have thousands of followers on social media, next thing you know, they are writing a book on how to be an alpha male or how to be feminist. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's easy to say, oh, maybe you might have enough thoughts or brain as a knowledge to know that this is just nonsense. But there are actual people that take this as law. They take their words as law, and then they take it down to real life to apply to their own experience. Meanwhile, the person that is giving you rules on how to live or how to treat women or how to treat your husband or how to treat your mother-in-law or stuff like that is not even married, has not even experienced this, but because they happen to have thousands of followers, you assume that their word is law.
Yeah,
I don't know,
which is not healthy, to be honest.
Exactly. So you can this is even Twitter, which is thought. What about on an app like Instagram, for instance, where it's pictures? People paint such a rosy picture. Sometimes you even see people. Let's say personally, maybe I'll see someone that I actually know their daily life, and then on Instagram it's like, oh my God, this person is living in heaven, or their life is like so romantic, everything is perfect, and they are like, people are looking at it and like, oh, I wish God when. God, I want this for me. This or that one. Like, and you're like, okay, you don't even know what this person is
what's going on intimately.
You don't know what's going on intimately, but they painted a perfect picture and you just buy into everything that they are selling. I'm not saying that you cannot get like maybe thoughts like you cannot get what they call it, pointers, or there's no. I'm not saying that it's all nonsense, right? There are some things that I actually read. There are some articles that I read which I like, maybe gives me food for thought and helps me to also form my own opinion. But it doesn't mean that every single thing that you see on social media you just swallow hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the thing. So being able to discern information and understand, okay, this is helpful or this is not. And it's the same, that tribalism I was speaking of in football. Some people apply it in every single, let's say they've chosen this side. It's like everything in this life now, you have to choose a side. In the political aspect, if you're a conservative or you're a liberal, every single thought line of thought the conservatives have, whether it's ridiculous or stupid, it doesn't matter as long as this is the position you have taken it. You're not interrogating the assertion at all. You're not even saying, wait, this thing actually doesn't make sense. But because of, this is the position, this is the stand of a conservative, and I'm going to take the stand, and I don't care about thinking, okay, what about my own thoughts? How does this affect my own life personally? What does it make sense in the general scheme of things, or just because you have taken a stand on this, or this person I respect or assume that they are always right has taken a stand, therefore I'm going to just follow suit? So I don't know. In social media, it's getting worse because now those people even have more access to people. If pre-social media, it was harder because unless you go out of your way, let's say, to purchase that person's books or even YouTube or social media. But before we got to these apps now, where you kind of have direct access to them, you have to go out of your way to search for that information. But now, once the information is thrust on you, you have seen it, you have watched it. Before you know it, you are watching, and once once they know, you have seen this one, they will start pushing everything in that general thought process your way. Before you know it, you are buying into whatever it is they are selling without even having any chance to think about what they are saying and even determine whether it makes sense or is applicable or is real or is useful. So I don't know, it's a bit scary in my opinion, but like I said, I feel like our generation, there's really not much we can do. It's the children that we have to take charge or take control of, and ensure that we control on kind of limit how much access they have.
They have to social media. But I know you've mentioned this about the Godwin thing. So I'm just curious now. Do you think the line is actually getting blurred? Like, Are people really living? Are people actually able to live dual lives, like different life on social media, different life in real life? Like, can you tell like the person's reality from social media? Like, if somebody is painting this picture of they're living in heaven, but you know them outside social media and their life is different. Like, can you actually tell from what you see and mirrored, or is it possible for someone to actually live dual lives in both worlds?
I think that is very possible, especially like the ones that okay. I'll compare two apps now. On Instagram, is mostly pictures, videos, which you can curate very easily to make it seem like what is not.
You're having fun.
Yes, exactly. Or you are living a perfect life, and then maybe in real, and it might just be that there are some aspects of your life which you can curate and it will look perfect, and then the rest of your life is just shit. For more for a better word, excuse my sorry.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, for instance, right? I have seen, at least I've been on the app for long enough. Like, it's very, very rare. Some people will start off with writing thoughts on, okay, generally maybe like what they call it, saying things that they actually maybe don't mean in real life.
Yeah.
But I find that like happy if somebody says or something outrageous once or says it now, eventually you can determine a pattern. It can be someone that it can be narcissism, where this person is just looking for their, like, tweeting for their applause. One, this person is saying stuff that they know that some other people might be saying stuff, they are looking for engagement. That's another thing that I've also determined on that app. Some people say ridiculous things where they know so many people are going to engage and call them out, and that engagement, for whatever reason, does something for them. Maybe they are influencers and what they call it, they are they are looking for engagement, they are looking for endorsement or getting paid for saying stuff like that. I'm referring more to the viewers, the what they call it, the spectators, the people that are just random Twitter people, and the people that they don't have thoughts of their own.
Yeah.
Their influencers do their own sole job is to influence you to think a certain way, act a certain way, do stuff a certain way.
Yeah.
Those people now are the ones that, in my opinion, are able to demarcate between this is social media, this is real life.
No, because they are the ones actually piloting the whole thing.
Exactly, and they are getting paid to do it, and they are pushing certain information. They are just sending a certain message. This is a message they want to push across. Every day they are saying the same thing, saying it in different ways, influencing this, that. Then you are like, oh, maybe this is not actually, oh, maybe this person, oh, you have seen, this person has said one or two or three things you have seen and you have liked. Now, when they are now putting the rest of the rubbish which they are paid to get you to say or think in a certain way, you are not now able to tell the difference. So influencers, in my opinion, are different, and their own job, like people that actually tell themselves influencers is good, is the average Joe that is on Twitter just seeking for information, seeking guidance, seeking like pointers. Sometimes you might not even come out right on Twitter to come and say, oh, I'm looking for directions on how to act or how to live life or how to do this. Sometimes it's in the comments, it's in the responses to that particular tweet. That's where you find those people who they don't even have a mind of their own. They are just waiting on what this their Twitter influencer mentor will say or think on a certain topic.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that is like they just take that stand as long as the person they respect and believe whatever they say says that's
the particular thing. Yeah.
You get, so for me, I understand the influencers, and in my opinion, those influencers are
doing their job.
Double life.
They're doing their
exactly.
job.
They are doing their job. It's now the regular Joes who are regular users of social media. Those are the people that, in my opinion, it's hard for them to understand that they are two different. This is different from this. And this person now does not even know my reality. So there's no reason why I should take every single thing they say and just apply it directly on my own life and circumstances, which is probably different from what they are saying. So for me, influencers, they can demarcate, but regular Joes are where the problems are and where they are actually struggling to understand how to remove both as a divide both aspects and know that they are different.
They know that there's a difference between the two.
Yes,
Yeah, I agree. I agree, because that's one thing a lot of us find hard. So, but you mentioned something about social media. There are certain things people post on social media. You can tell how they think. I'm sorry, but
Exactly.
this is who I am. If I read what you post, I can tell how you think. I can actually tell. Maybe if somebody tweets at me, I can only tell this person wants an argument. I can tell without even reading, without even engaging. I can only tell. So, you can also tell. You can also tell the people who lack a little bit of direction. Like you said, they follow these influencers to actually direct them on how to think, what to think about the opposite sex, what to think about this, what to think about that. And I think is a very precarious position to be in, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that means you'll be easily manipulated and you may do things you really don't want to do, and that may have a very big ramification or consequences in your own life compared to the influencers who are just there would I say orchestrating how you think. So you're not going to affect their own life, to be honest. But because of time, finally, if you had the chance, let's say I give you £100,000 now, and say create an app today, social media app today, that will mirror a person's real life. Your social life will mirror your social media life, will mirror your real life. How would you go about it? How are you going to create it to make sure there's a balance?
Well, I would. The way I would do it, right? First of all, I'm not a data. What they call those people, software engineer, whatever it is. Those people that create this app. So, but I would say that like my ideal app, what I would want first of all is like another issue I have with social media because of the like some people, like I said, they might as in what we talked about earlier, that they might create like almost like an alternate personality where they are able to, or they are free to like try and say and do some stuff that you actually see that this is actually evil. So like you said, you can tell someone's personality sometimes from the way some things they say. So these people know that if people actually see this from their real self, they'll be like, this person is actually evil or whatever it is that you are able to determine. So they create an alternate personality to be able to use it and be trolls and whatever. So in my opinion, my ideal app, funny enough, will be kind of like a fusion of all things. Like maybe a LinkedIn a page where everybody knows this is who you are, this is where you work. You know, the more people know about you, I feel like you'll be more cautious before you say, because you know that.
Yeah. No. That's that. Recent times I cut down what I post on social media and all, and some people don't understand why I don't want to engage them in football banter anymore. You have to be careful what you say.
Exactly. Because the world is getting smaller. There's more access. Like I said, it's easier to, if you actually have time. Yeah. I've had one time personally. I'm not a software or a data person or whatever, but I've actually taken out time one time to search out a throw. It didn't take me up to 45 minutes or 1 hour to actually find out information about this person, find out where they live, their school, their work. Like from information, their Instagram page, their Twitter page, just little snooping I did, and I was able to sort out all this information. And I'm like, okay, so me myself, as easy as it is to find this thing about this person, it means that it's also going to be easy if somebody really wants to take out time. I'm not even a non on social media per se, but like I try not to post pictures, and also, like I said, like you said, restrict or reduce that kind of talk.
No, it's important because you see, when you are I'm not saying this in a condescending way. When you are at the bottom of the ladder, or maybe you're just starting out your career, maybe it's okay. But as you're climbing higher and higher in your life, in your career, everybody wants to make career progressions. We all want to. You have to be very careful what you say, because it can be used against you any day, any time, and it will pull you down. So you can't find yourself jumping into every conversation. No. Sometimes, like I said, these days I like football, but sometimes I don't even engage in some banters anymore, because you don't know how it's going to go far, and you don't want to say anything. Now you know this person wants an argument, you just back out. You see what I mean? Not because you don't, but you are trying to be careful what you say out there, because it's important. Anybody can twist what you. For example, you could say something that you may think is okay, and it could be taken out of context. It could be twisted. And you may find your career hanging in the balance, hanging on the thread.
Yeah, now that these days previously it was people were able to have a different life. Like that's part of the reasons or the things I'm saying where the lines are getting blurred. It also illustrates the point where in the beginning it was I mean there were accounts that I know on social media that used to say some really outrageous stuff that I'm like, what? How can this person really say this? But I could never imagine those people saying this kind of thing now. Like just like you said, when you're at the bottom of the career, maybe when you're even a student. For instance, it might be free to say all sorts of outrageous stuff. You can even use some slurs or even say some things that are probably not acceptable. Make some jokes, if you will, that is really like it's not even acceptable in any format, whatever format. But however, you're a student, nobody really cares. Like, where are they going to drag it or what's going to happen? Nobody is going to expel you for whatever joke ahead. But the more you are climbing, your career is developing.
Your career is developing. You're getting to the place where you are a leader, a manager.
A manager.
You have to be careful.
Exactly. If those things you say, that's another thing. If you are saying those jokes, can you make those jokes in a professional setting? Let's say you are sharing a meeting or doing a PowerPoint presentation for your job. Are you able to make that kind of joke in that setting? If you can't say that, that means I'm not saying that it's every single joke that you cannot make in a PowerPoint setting. What they call a PowerPoint presentation is inappropriate. Sometimes maybe the occasion, depending on the occasion. But however, you have to be able to apply caution, and that's why, like, maybe those of us that have been on, I keep using Twitter because I feel like Twitter is where a lot of all this happens, because Twitter is more of what you are saying rather than Instagram, where it's pictures and videos and all whatnot. So people are more cautious in saying or applying or thinking on saying thoughts aloud. Maybe they might have thoughts. They are more cautious of relaying those thoughts, like you said, where it might not be accepted as how you mean it. So in my opinion, the ideal social media would be a fusion of, let's say, LinkedIn and Twitter, where everybody knows who you are. So that if you want to say some things, you remember that even if your company they are not following you or whatever it is, they are still able to access your page. So you have to be cautious. Like, you have to understand that, okay, when you want to respond, you might say, is this response worth it? Is the repercussion? Am I willing to face the repercussion of this when I put this out there? And if not, you just delete it and just say it's not worth it. So that, in my opinion, would be the ideal social media if I actually get £100,000, which we know I'm not getting, but being the operating world, if I get, and if that was the assignment, that would be what I would think should be ideal.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Very good answer.
Yeah.
But because of time, this is where we're gonna wrap up for this week. Thank you so much, Onyinye, for taking out the time to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me, and I enjoyed myself, actually.
I was about to ask if you enjoyed yourself, but obviously.
Yes, I did. I enjoyed the discussion. It helped me to speak on something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I can feel the passion coming through. So we should actually do more in the future.
Yeah.
All right.
Hope